Greetings, all you Christmassy people. I am G.Long, sitting in the command chair like I'm supposed to be.
Oh, are we still talking
And you
about
are
that?
listening to the Long in the Boot podcast coming to you from the heel of the boot of Southwest Louisiana. And sitting with me in the passenger seat is...
I'm in the director's chair, actually.
The lovely Deborah. Well, it is a director's chair, but it's the passenger seat.
Yes, thankfully.
It's not the command chair.
Yeah, all right.
Anyway,
it's cold here today.
It's cold outside.
It is, and it's windy.
Here, drink this. Anyway,
that
so
song
we
is
are
getting a bad rap, and I'm tired of it.
We are doing well, it won't be a very long podcast today because you guys got things to do. It's Christmas Eve, really, technically. We're not to the Eve part of it yet.
No, it hasn't become evening, but it is the eve of Christmas.
It's pre-Christmas Eve, right? Isn't that how you say it?
No, you're making up words.
Am I making up words?
Yeah, don't be a bush.
Well, what do you call the middle of the day of Christmas Eve?
I don't think it's important.
Oh, the day before Christmas?
No, don't you try to twist that.
Well, I don't know. I'm trying to be specific. Anyway,
the label we put
as I was trying to say before I was so rudely interrupted from the passenger chair.
You started it.
This is the Long in the Boot podcast. If you'd like to reach us, it's 337-502-9011. And the Facebook page is, the Long in the Boot Facebook page. And my website, I'm taking it down, going to finagle some other ideas, kicking around a different website, but I am hanging on to the domain name.
Yeah, but you weren't committed
now,
to it. So.
If you want the longintheboot.com domain, please make me an offer.
What?
I'm willing to sell it, but it's going to have to.
Would need that?
I can't even imagine.
Whatever.
Somebody who has really big feet in boots.
Sure. All right.
I don't know. Well, Southwest Louisiana, we definitely got hit with some fun weather last night. This is, as I was saying, Christmas Eve.
Yeah.
And
fact checkers had to sleep in the bed with us.
Yeah, the fact checkers got scared, started fact checking. Every time the thunder boomed, they were like, liar. And it wasn't a lie. It was windy and scary. And of course, we all have weak trees. I'm sure everybody kind of worries about that. And the ground is soft
it is
that
Louisiana,
it wouldn't take much. I would imagine there's some trees out there you could probably just push over by pushing on them.
Well, I don't want to know about it.
No, I don't either. But anyway, so we were discussing a few things here. And real quick, before I get off on the topic du jour, we're
getting a side item today.
Yeah. The COVID relief bill. Look, whatever you think of Trump, he says he's going to veto it because of all the waste. And I say, good on him.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. Money for gender classes in Pakistan.
I don't know.
A place where women don't even have rights.
Who's lobbying for these things? I want to meet
these people. I want to meet the lobbyists that are up there going, hey, you know what you should do?
Write this in.
Pakistan needs some gender studies money.
Oh, and we're going to put it on so much paper that nobody humanly possibly could read it. And
right. Well, remember back when the Obamacare bill was being debated, and they were like, they won't even let us read it. Well, the Obamacare bill was only like 1,000 pages. This behemoth came in at nearly 6,000 pages.
Oh my God.
It had to be wheeled into Congress because no one person could carry it.
Yeah.
And
that's designed by plan. I mean,
it's just ridiculous.
Absolutely what
of course, happening at Christmas time, and people are saying, well, no, it's stupid. Just either it's a COVID relief bill or it's not. But anything else in there, like building, my favorite is they want to build a Teddy Roosevelt Presidential Library in North Dakota, a place he's not from. By tradition, presidential libraries are built in the state where they came from, often in the town where they came from. But not this one. No, sir. The only thing that I can figure is Teddy Roosevelt once had a cattle ranch in North Dakota until a great blizzard came and killed every cow he had.
Oh, and he was out after that.
So sure, he deserves a presidential library there.
That's it. I'm out.
I'm done. Going back to Sagamore.
This state sucks.
It sucks here. And he wasn't wrong.
I don't want to live there. I'm cold today.
No, let's face it. I think we can all agree. North Dakota sucks.
Well, I'm sure it's beautiful country.
And if you're from North Dakota, send your emails to the lovely Deborah at.
Don't you dare.
Anyway, but it's Christmas time, and I was noticing the other day that Trump, he made Christmas Eve a federal holiday this year by presidential decree.
Well, Walmart is actually closing for Christmas this year.
But not Christmas Eve. Right?
No, probably not.
They'll probably close early tonight.
Yeah, I think they actually were. I was very happy for the.
But usually it hasn't been. It's never been declared a federal holiday. Although some presidents have given federal employees off, and this is kind of the same deal. It's not a law; it's a presidential decree. Biden, if he wants to, Bo Jiden could obviously.
That's not yours.
It's so easy though.
It is.
But he could take it away, which who knows how that'll all play out. But it was the quote that I saw when Donald Trump
started all this.
That's what started this whole.
We're getting to the meat of the matter.
Yeah,
now.
the Christmas thing. I saw where he went. Well, first before I go, I guess I always get irritated this time of year because I keep seeing stories when I'm flipping through the news. Usually it's Fox News most of the time.
Of year, huh?
And it's constant. It's this constant drumbeat of the war on Christmas. The war on
Bill
Christmas.
O'Reilly, yes, war on
the
everything.
war on Christmas. Well, here, I'll just give you a little taste, and then we'll be right back.
And more victims in the war on Christmas.
Attacks on Christmas.
To deny that there is a war on Christmas is to lie.
Big headlines for you. War on Christmas edition.
Waging a war on Christmas.
War on Christmas.
There's a war on Christmas.
It's the war on Christmas. War on Christmas.
War on Christmas.
War on Christmas. War on Christmas.
It's a new chapter in the left's war on Christmas.
Assaults on the traditions of Christmas.
In North Korea to the war on Christmas.
Dr. Sebastian Gorka says this has jihad written all over it. He is live next.
And the war on Christmas, if you watch The Factor, you know that we won the war on Christmas battle.
Oh, yes, Bill O'Reilly.
The war on Christmas was being compared to a jihad?
Yes.
Oh.
And of course, what a lot of people say about the war on Christmas, of course, is it's actually a war on Christians.
Oh, yes.
The poor subjugated Christians. Because, they're such a small minority of people in the United States.
They have no power.
They have no power whatsoever, so that we have to protect them. Anyway, Bill O'Reilly was the one that used to beat the drum the most. Every year he'd trot this thing out. The war on Christmas. And it would always be something stupid like, you can't say Merry Christmas to somebody.
Yes, and you
have to say Happy Holidays.
I alternate between Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays.
Well, I do something different. I go Happy Saturnalia. And people look at me like I'm weird.
Happy Festivus if I think they're hip.
Yeah, they're Festivus for the rest of us.
Oh, yeah.
And anyway, but Donald Trump, so apparently the war thing is still going on. There's still, this year it was Tucker Carlson. Now, see, he's basically Bill O'Reilly light.
Yeah. And he's the younger version. That's all.
Well, yeah,
he's on his way up.
He's not. He's got a few advertisers left. But they are slowly but surely trickling away.
Because you have to get advertisers, or why put it out? Oh, wait, we're putting it out, and we have no advertisers. Right,
exactly. We're not, and but we have such a heavy revenue stream that we don't need advertisers. Anyway,
not if they don't sign that new bill.
Trump invoked the war on Christmas this week when he signed the executive order. This is a huge victory in the Democrats' pathetic war on Christmas, and I want you to be a part of it. And by the way, war on Christmas is in all caps, so I'm assuming he yelled it.
Of course
I don't know.
Did.
But anyway,
he does that though, right? He tweets in all caps a lot.
Well, and that's he does, and so do a lot of people. They just haven't learned that whole caps thing. Yeah. Get on it, people. And
you should not go down that stream.
Yeah, that's a whole different show. I can't do that one not yet. One day. One day. So anyway, the war on Christmas.
Your lights are very Christmassy. I
tried to do that. I got the red and the yellows and the greens and the whites.
The bottom ones today for Christmas, or were they?
No, those are my purple buttons. Those are two special buttons.
No, all the ones along the.
Oh, down here?
Yeah.
No, they're always red and green.
Your taskbar at the bottom.
Yeah, they're always red and green.
I guess that really.
Those are my mutes and my listen-ins and different.
That's the primitive taskbar. It's the
Well, I'm not primitive.
Pre-computer taskbar.
It does all kinds of things. Go ahead and say something. What? I can't hear you. Yeah. Yeah, see? Yeah. There you go. That's what it does.
I see.
It allows me to control the room.
I've been censored.
That's right. You've been censored. We need to get rid of censorship.
Get me my lawyer.
Just call me Facebook. Anyway, so yeah, war on Christmas. Apparently, it's still going on, and of course, it's again a secret war against Christians.
Okay, so get to it.
Well,
what's your point?
So I started looking into this, and I found lots of evidence of various wars on Christmas throughout history. The problem is, the more I look, the more I find that it's been Christians who've been the most adamant to persecute and prosecute people celebrating Christmas. It has a long, illustrious...
Isn't it their Christmas?
Well, apparently not. Some people in the past did not appreciate Christmas.
Oh.
They appreciated Christ. They did not appreciate Christmas.
The hoopla that goes around surrounds his birth.
Right. And first, we'll just go ahead and say that the very first recorded Christmas on December 25th was in 336 A.D.,
okay,
when the first Christian Roman Emperor Constantine declared it basically a holiday, not an official holiday, just holiday.
We're liking this day for rest.
And it kind of came and went as a festival. It was pasted sort of on top of an older Roman festival called Saturnalia, which was a big feasting. It's all surrounded around the winter solstice. That's really what it all is around.
Food.
And food and revelry.
Getting stocky for the winter time to make it through.
And it came and went, and then for a while it wasn't that big a deal. But then 800 AD, or just 800 for you and me, Charlemagne becomes the official first Holy Roman Emperor.
Okay.
And Charlemagne decided to have his coronation on December 25th of 800 on purpose. He picked the date because it was that date, significant of Christ.
Well, was he doing it as a
Yeah, he was a Christian. He had been a barbarian, but not a barbarian, but he'd been Frankish king. He was converted to Christianity. The Irish monks that he surrounded himself with, I'm sure, encouraged this. He was also instrumental in converting lots and lots of barbarians to Christianity. He had a unique way of doing it. His preaching style was sort of like this. He'd say, "I'll kill you, or you can become a Christian." And weirdly enough, lots of people became Christians. And then later again in 1066, William I of England, better known to his friends as William the Bastard, or William the Conqueror, if you know him, he decided also to be crowned on December 25th. And this sort of became a ritual for monarchs in England.
Right,
so
they picked it up as a.
So we're gonna gradually move towards England, but just understand that a lot of German and Northern European pieces of earlier pagan festivals kind of got pulled into this Christmas festival thing.
Sure.
Yule logs, etc.
Yeah, particular
holly
foods and little rituals and
Yes, and so anyway, it became a very big holiday in England, and it was
candy canes.
Well, I don't know about that early on. I have no idea.
There was no sugar.
They had sugar. It just was harder to get.
Beet sugar.
And by the 1500s, they definitely started having sugar. But anyway, the problem was in England, as time went by, Christmas became more and more, well, I would say fun. Wow. But it became a much bigger revelry than some people liked. Early on, it evolved into this thing where they had what they called misrule. And everybody would reverse roles.
No.
And so you would have like some poor peasant would be named king of misrule. Kings would then have to be peasants.
So it's everybody's.
You'd have people who were, the bishop had to literally give his robes to somebody and they were bishop for the day. And it was all in good fun, but it was also gift giving. Rich people had to give poor people gifts. They would show up at your house, and in some cases, if they showed up at your house and you didn't give them stuff, they would not treat your house very nicely.
Turn into the purge.
On Christmas Day, lower classes would dress up in strange costumes to invert their roles. Men would dress up as women, young boys as bishops, and the lowliest peasant or the town drunk might be declared the Lord of Misrule. They would gather in a mob and go around to houses and estates of the rich, making a racket and singing actually singing not carols. They were baudy songs
It
about.
was a little Mardi Gras.
It was fornication songs and all kinds of stuff. And they would demand entry into
fertility, baby.
Fertility. Sorry.
That's
Yeah.
it.
Most of the time, the rich would actually let them in and give them alcohol, food, money.
They sound like pirates.
There was gambling and promiscuity. What? Promiscuity? Once the mob was satisfied, they'd move on to the next house. They would generally roam around often for 12 days.
Okay.
Till the Epiphany, which is like January 6th.
Yeah.
And it seems surprising that rich people would let people into their homes, but imagine the reverse. If you say, hey, you can't come in my house, drunken mob.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
You might as well let them come through.
Yeah. They would break in, they'd destroy property. They would frighten the wife and child of the rich, and they would carry off all the food and drink anyway. So,
Well, all right. This sounds a little out of hand.
well, you can kind of see that.
I could see where they'd want it to move to a.
I've got the words from a Christmas carol from 1600.
Can you say it?
Yeah. It says, and I don't know the tune, but it says, come bring with a noise, my merry, merry boys, the Christmas log to firing. And if you don't open up your door, we will lay you flat upon the floor.
Oh, no. I wonder was that a fast beat, do you think?
Well, but think about what it was. It was almost like a safety valve. You work your butt off all year.
Well, it is. It's the purge.
It's sort of
get it all out.
Get it out of your system.
We know it's going to happen on this night.
We know you're going to be
Put
bad.
The good china away. Just bring out the.
So
out the wooden plates.
And there was lots of gambling, and there was horse races. Now, in the midst of all this, people did go to church. That's the thing that you got to understand about this. They would go to mass. There would actually be more masses than normal. So this was going on within celebrating Christmas.
So do you think they went off and did something sinful and then ran to church?
Well, the problem
did something else, ran to church.
The problem came later with the English Civil War. And I know, bringing a nasty old Civil War into this, but
okay. So time period now.
Charles the First of England, and we're up into the 1600s, middle 1600s. Charles the First of England had run afoul of Parliament. Well, we'll get there, but anyway. So Charles the First of England, he was a Protestant, but he was the head of the Church of England. And for those of you who might have listened in a previous episode, and I still haven't talked about Henry VIII yet, but Henry VIII was a very devout Catholic who then wasn't in a really violent kind of way because he couldn't get a divorce. So he turned the Catholic Church of England into the Anglican Church, or the Church of England, with himself as the head of the church instead of the Pope. And that's pretty much the way it stood. But during this time, Calvinists, who could be also called the no fun having people, they had also been coming in, the Puritans, and they were a lot more strict about what they wanted. They didn't think that the shift to the Anglican Church was enough. It was not. In fact, they thought the Anglican Church was still way too Catholic.
Too Catholic and ornate.
Idols and all that stuff.
A Catholic Church versus
the Church of England still looks very similar to a Catholic church, the services and everything. And even the robes, the robes are just a different color. And so they have a point as far as being very similar to Catholicism still. And the Puritans had been gaining power slowly but surely in England. They had been gaining power, and they had also taken over Parliament, or control of Parliament. And they got into an argument with the king, and there's a whole lot going on about this English Civil War that I don't want to get into.
Well, there's background drama.
There's so much politics and everything else. It's really there's really three wars, but the one that concerns us is the one which was really about who ran England. Was it the king? Charles would have said, absolutely, the king is in charge of England because he is chosen by God to rule.
Prove it.
Divine right. Parliament said, no. You rule at the people's behest. The people are in charge. And the argument eventually came to a head. And you can say who won pretty easily by noticing who doesn't have a head at the end of this argument. And it's Charles. His head fell off with the help of a Puritan axe. And so that's the Puritans take over England. And the Puritans knew what they were about. And what they were about was making sure that people didn't have fun. And also going to church properly.
But whose version of fun?
Well,
Who says what's fun? They did.
Yeah, but they didn't believe in fun, literally.
No.
Frivolous activity and enjoyment was sinful. So if you were smiling and enjoying your life, you were doing something wrong.
It has to be for the glory of God.
That's right.
And Bradstreet, don't you write poetry about loving your husband?
And the guy who came to power for the Puritans and took over because they didn't have a king after King Charles, Charles II fled to France, first to Scotland, then to France, and then I think comes back. But for 15 years, basically, England was under the power of the Puritans, and in particular, Oliver Cromwell. Oliver Cromwell, well, he was a very devout Christian, but we'll see how devout in just one second. Anyway, Cromwell decided that Christmas was a celebration that needed to stop. And the reason was because there was nothing in the Bible about Jesus' birth being on December 25th. There was nothing in the Bible about the nativity being on the 25th. And in effect, the Puritans, and with Cromwell, of course, leading them, decided to begin banning Christmas. And they banned a lot of things besides Christmas, but Christmas was definitely high on the list. And they did it very quickly. They enforced the Act of Parliament banning Christmas celebrations. They regarded Christmas as threatening Christian values and beliefs. All activities related to Christmas, including attending Mass, were forbidden. So no Mass. So basically they're telling the Anglican Church, you're kind of shut down. You can't do the way you do. Yeah. The ban was hugely unpopular, and people still celebrated Christmas. They had to do it very quietly.
They had to do it yes.
Under the Commonwealth, which is when the Puritans ruled, you could not bake mince pies. You weren't allowed to do it.
So indulgent.
Decorating your house with holly and mistletoe? No. So
the kissing under the mistletoe must have been an absolute no.
If you were caught cooking food for a Christmas feast, they would seize the food and you could be put into stocks.
Just the act of
or
cooking.
fined.
How do they know the meal is different?
Because it would often involve a goose.
Oh, you'd actually have meat.
And actually, the meat is part of the deal. The reason that everybody was eating meat at Christmas time is because you could butcher meat or animals and not have to worry about the meat going bad immediately. Yeah. That's the reason they drank, is because, well, that's when all the grain that had been converted into alcohol was coming to fruition.
Yes, fermentation.
So one of the really weird things was normally on Christmas in England, stores would close and people would attend Mass. Not under the Puritans. No. All stores were ordered to stay open. What else was banned? Stores had to stay open. They had groups of men who
So you better work.
Yeah, they were ordered to go around. If a store was closed, they would find the owner.
So nobody's at home celebrating or pretending not to celebrate because they have to go to work.
But here's the thing. In several towns in England, there's lots of documentation where somebody would be open for Christmas Day. Crowds of Anglicans would come by and say, "What are you doing open? This is Christmas. You need to shut your store." So the guy would shut the store. Then the Puritan police would show up and say, "Why are you closed? Get this store open." And it would often turn into a problem.
Yeah, I can see that. A miscommunication.
Yeah.
Of what everybody wants this guy to do and he can't do.
Puritans were just, they took it all too seriously. They banned obviously different kinds of puddings that were often served at Christmas time. All of these things, the roast beef, plum porridge, mince pies, special ales, all pretty much banned. They didn't like the Puritans said that Christmas was full of waste and debauchery, and they viewed the festival as an unwanted remnant of the Roman Catholic Church.
The Holy Roman Catholic Church. Okay.
Yes, the Holy Mother Church. They also created a directory of public worship, which was designed to explain to people the forms of worship that were to be followed in England and Wales.
Oh, it was the guidelines.
And you might notice I'm leaving Ireland out of that. There's a reason for that. According to the directory, the population was to strictly observe Sundays as holy days and were not to recognize any other festival days, since they had no biblical justification.
Okay.
If it ain't in the Bible, you can't do it.
Constitutionalists.
The Parliament then abolished the feasts of Christmas, Easter, and Whitsun. I'm not even sure what Whitsun is, to be perfectly honest.
Didn't look it up. Poor planning, sir.
My favorite said, Cromwell regarded Charles I as an insurgent secret Catholic
Oh.
who was subverting the true Protestant faith.
So it's all right.
So that's why they went ahead and cut his head off, because, you can't have that.
He wasn't going to heaven anyway.
Women caught working on the Sabbath could be put in stocks. Women were required to wear long black dresses that covered them from neck to toe, a white apron and a white headdress, and no makeup. The men were required to wear black and sport short hair only. So that's that royalist thing. They wanted, because, the mucky mucks had long hair, and, we can't have that.
So, often fashion went the opposite way. I mean, they used fashion to identify.
Well, that's true. That's true. One of my favorite things about all of this, though, is that Cromwell, being a Puritan, of course, we all think of him as being very religious and all that stuff. But despite being a religious man, Cromwell had an issue that we would consider a bit unchristian. He hated the Irish.
Oh.
I'm just throwing this in as a little fun.
I thought you weren't
a little aside.
I thought it was,
He believed that all Irish were potential traitors willing to help any Catholic nation that wanted to attack England.
Okay.
During his time as the head of government, he made it his task to tame, that's in quotes, tame the Irish.
Because they're beasts. They're wild beasts.
He sent an army there, and despite promising to treat well those who surrendered, often slaughtered the people who did surrender.
Oh.
He ordered that all...
Christian.
You think that's not Christian?
Well, actually, the ironic thing is it really is Christian.
He ordered that all Irish children should be sent to the West Indies to work as slave laborers on the sugar plantations. He knew that they would most likely die, but justified it on the grounds that dead children could not grow into Irish adults and have more children.
Jeez.
So pious. So Cromwell and the Puritans, when they ran England, they totally trashed Christmas, as well as just decency.
And the Irish.
And the Irish. Cromwell was actually buried when he died in Westminster Abbey, but this is my favorite thing.
Did they dig him up?
Yeah. When Charles II, who probably had a bit of a grudge, you killed my daddy. Yeah. I am Charles II.
So there's his mistake. He should have taken that child out.
You killed my father.
Yeah.
Prepare to die.
Don't let their kids live.
Actually, I guess it would, in this case, it would be, you killed my father. Prepare to die. Again. Charles II was asked to return to become King of England. His first order of business was that Cromwell's body should be dug up and put on trial as a traitor and a regicide. Okay. That's the murder of a king, right? His body was put on trial, found guilty, and symbolically hanged from a gallows at Tyburn. Wow. What was left of his body remains a mystery. However, his head was tarred and put on display in London for 20 years.
Wow.
You killed my daddy. You killed my daddy, you jerk. I'm going to fix you. And then later his head was buried somewhere else, and, who cares? It was Oliver Cromwell. Not the nicest guy. By the way, if you keep researching Oliver Cromwell, you'll find out that while he said all this stuff out loud, he didn't actually practice it very well. He learned to like being in charge. So much so that when Parliament tried to rein in his powers, he just disbanded Parliament and said, I'm in charge now. So, you people can go home.
Yeah, I was going to say, so there is a precedent. Yeah.
Go home.
Actually, there are many precedents.
I'm in charge. I'm the decider.
Caesar for life.
So, there you go. Anyway, so back to the war on Christmas. Obviously, the Puritans are the people who came to the New World.
They show up here and start trying to...
we kind of paint them with a glossy brush and call them pilgrims who were just coming here for religious freedom. Not anybody else's, their own. And they were pretty adamant about Christmas not being celebrated and didn't. Massachusetts is the state that was most stringently against Christmas. And in Massachusetts, all of the things that were banned in England for Christmas were pretty much banned in the colonies in Massachusetts. And many of the eastern colonies, especially the northern eastern colonies where Puritans largely gathered. Bostonians faced a 5 shilling fine for celebrating Christmas, and 5 shillings was a considerable sum of money at that time. they decided instead in Massachusetts, they made Christmas a period of fasting and humiliation. I'm not sure what the humiliation part it consists of. I couldn't.
It didn't give more specific details.
Well, yeah, I mean, what do you?
Not right.
You have to fast, and somebody has to
Humiliate you.
humiliate you. What do they do?
Oh, it is part of
Flick
Festivus.
their ear.
It is part of Festivus then.
Oh, yeah. Right.
Air your grievances.
Airing your grievances. In fact, on Christmas Day in 1621, which is 1 year after the Pilgrims arrived, the governor, William Bradford, asked the settlers to spend the day, Christmas Day, when they were going to celebrate. I don't know why. It must have sucked.
It must have been terrible.
Here's how Bradford described Plymouth's first Christmas in his journal. These are his words. On the day called Christmas Day, I called them out to work, as was used, but the most of the new company excused themselves and said it went against their consciences to work on that day. So I told them that if they made it a matter of conscience, I would spare them till they were better informed. So I led away the rest and left them. But when I came back at noon from the work, I found them in the street playing openly, some pitching the bar and some at stool ball and such sports. They're having fun. They're playing. So he went to them. So I went to them and took away their toys. He says implements, but it's their toys. Yeah. And told them that this was against my conscience, that they should play while others work. If they made the keeping of it a matter of devotion, I will let them keep their houses.
Oh, wow.
But there should be no gaming and no reveling in the streets.
No recreation at all.
Since which time nothing has been attempted openly. So he was going to take away their homes.
Yeah. And nothing attempted openly, meaning he knows that they are going
to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, at least he's smart enough to realize that.
Human nature.
And so, you can, so was there a war on Christmas? Well, yeah, there was a war on Christmas. I do have also, one of my favorite things was the Mathers, the famous Mathers.
Jerry?
No, not Jerry Mathers. Not the beaver.
Not the beaver.
No, this was
the beaver celebrated.
This was Increase Mather and Cotton Mather.
That's right, those boys.
They were very strict Puritan types. Increase Mather. I love the book. The book says Increase Mather, the Michael Jordan of hating Christmas. Early Christians who first observed the Nativity on December 25th did not do so thinking that Christ was born in that month, but because the heathens' Saturnalia was at the time kept in Rome, and they were willing to have those pagan holidays metamorphosed into Christian ones. So he really didn't like it.
So he sees it for what it is.
That's right. He sees it. So obviously the pagan holidays sound like they were quite a bit of fun, actually. Yeah. But anyway, so the religious folks didn't like it. But one of the things that I think is really funny is something that was written called The Examination and Trial of Old Father Christmas. This was written in England during the time of the Puritans' war on Christmas, but it was written as satire of what the Puritans were doing.
Oh, like a little Jonathan Swift kind of thing.
Yeah. Okay. And it says the examination and trial, as you might guess, satirizes the Puritans' hatred of Christmas. Puritans' names in the story, Mr. Starve Mouse, Mr. Love None, and Mr. Grunchmeat. Here are the charges against Father Christmas as read by the judge. Christmas, thou art here indicted by the name of Christmas of the town of Superstition in the county of Idolatry. Thou hast from time to time abused the people of this commonwealth, drawing and enticing them to drunkenness, gluttony, and unlawful gaming, wantonness, uncleanness, lasciviousness, cursing, swearing, abuse of the creatures, some to one vice and some to another, all to idleness. What sayest thou to indictment, guilty or not guilty? And he pleaded not guilty.
As you would.
And the jury agreed after a trial and decided that at that point, he who will not fully celebrate Christmas should forfeit his estate. So this was the satire in England over the Puritans' war on Christmas.
Here in the colonies?
No, that was actually in England, but I'm sure it carried over.
Yeah, it was still going.
I mean, why not? Oh, by the way, I wouldn't want the guy that wrote that to get mad. So that was written by one Hosea King.
Hosea King.
Hosea King in the 1600s. Hope he won't sue me.
Oh, okay. Sounds like he should be a gospel tune.
You think?
Hosea King.
That is a pretty good name, actually.
Yeah, it really is.
And so anyway, that's the War on Christmas history that I saw. So we can keep hearing people like Sarah Palin, and she's back. By the way, she's a.
Is she?
Well, yeah, because now a Democrat won the White House.
Yeah.
So then she'll, her head pops up like like an angry lemur.
Is she still up there in Alaska?
Yeah.
She's still in charge?
She actually wrote a book a while back about, it's called Sarah Palin's Bible for the War on Christmas. She's so funny. She mixes metaphors and history. She's defending the religious history of Christmas as a holiday. And I could go into how very non-religious Christmas had been for most of the time. It's still a religious holiday. Clearly, it's a religious holiday. Yes. The war on Christmas, whatever that means, clearly has not worked.
Yes, people are still doing it, even though we've been told by our illustrious governor to stop it.
In a recent event at the Christian Liberty University, Palin gave a talk on Christmas and the Constitution. Because, one and the same. Christmas, like the Constitution, she argued, you already know this is going to be good, is a holiday by and for religious people. Now think about what she just said. Christmas, like the Constitution, is a holiday by and for religious people. And Christmas, like the Constitution, is something that atheists are incapable of understanding.
So atheists
can't understand the Constitution.
Nope. Either. Oh.
She then spoke for Thomas Jefferson.
He needed her to do that?
Yes, he did.
Okay.
Who knew?
I didn't.
Jefferson would recognize those who would want to try to ignore that Jesus is the reason for the season.
Oh,
those who would want to try to abort Christ from Christmas. Oh. He would recognize that for the most part, these are angry atheists armed with an attorney. They are not the majority of Americans. Well, if they're not the majority of Americans, what are you worried about?
Why are you worried?
So anyway.
Abort. I like that. Man, she really thought about that as her persuasive device.
And by the way, the song Baby It's Cold Outside that they keep bringing up, it's not a Christmas song. Shut up. It's not. It's a song about, well, I know what it's about, but I think we all know what it's about. But, it's flirtation. Stop it. And hopefully she got out.
Intact?
we don't know. But it's not a Christmas song.
They just started playing it then, and it became part of a staple.
The one
tradition.
The one they brought up this year too is the Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. They brought that one back up again about him being bullied and all that stuff. And
poor thing.
Yeah, he was bullied.
It was a different time when you were raising your kids in the 60s. The fathers were often, he needs to be tough, and they made them redo.
I'll not have a freak in my house.
They made them redo the end of that because they didn't address the Lost Island.
The Isle of Lost Toys.
There you go. Thank you. No, they had to shoot the end because after they aired it, people were freaked out.
What about the gimpy toys?
And they had to redo it. So that's been around censorship.
Well, I think they're all ignoring the obvious though. They're mad about the deer bullying Rudolph. They're mad about the coach, who's like, "Oh, you're a freak."
Yes.
First of all, they don't even talk about the fact that there is clearly a gay elf and nobody's giving him a hard time.
Oh, because he wants to be a dentist?
They give him a hard time because he wants to be a dentist, not because he's gay.
But that's the euphemism, you see.
Oh, I see.
At the time,
gay
the
dentist.
Concept, you're not a doctor, you're just a DDS. That mentality, that old chestnut.
Can we not forget that it was Santa Claus who wouldn't let Rudolph guide his sleigh because he was physically deformed? Oh, we can't do that. And Santa was having his own problems. Obviously, he wasn't eating enough.
No.
Eat, Santa.
Mom was trying to push that on him. Maybe her cooking. Maybe it was.
Yeah, maybe so.
Mrs. Claus.
It's hard to say.
Although he had a lot of cookies.
Well,
Isn't he going to put on weight that night?
And I think they all should have just gone to Burl Ives, the snowman, and had a nice long talk. And I think they could have worked this all out.
Santa probably burned a lot of calories on Christmas Eve.
I bet he does.
Maybe that's what the cookies are, fuel for him.
Fuel, yeah.
Maybe he gives them to the reindeer, a lot of sugar.
And a little magic dust. A little more magic dust, a little more magic dust. Okay, I know that was ridiculous. Anyway, so there you go. That's the war on Christmas. The people fighting the war the hardest over the last, well, I don't know, 600 years.
Yeah.
Been Christians. They're the ones that attack Christmas. And there are still people that do that. There are still Christians that think that the celebration of Christmas
is too much.
Well,
we're
okay to celebrate the birth of Christ.
Yes, and
but anything past that.
Well, it's just they want it more somber and solemn. They just feel like
they want it to be serious.
Yes.
You know, it's just like with the Puritans taking all the stuff out of churches. As soon as they took over, they denuded churches. They destroyed.
Throw out the decor.
Yeah, they destroyed books.
How dare you decorate your trees?
Yeah, no, there were no Christmas trees in Puritan England Christmas. No, that's a pagan thing. It's a Yule log thing and all that good stuff. We can't have that. No. Stop having fun.
So what is the alternative? We get COVID and we can't celebrate.
I guess we can also make the link now that the health authorities are the new Puritans.
That's an interesting thought, yeah.
Because you can't have fun. Not at Thanksgiving, not at Christmas,
well, you just
never. Don't travel.
You can have fun with a small
Don't
cohort.
sing. Hide your face so we can't see you smiling. Basically taking all emotion out of society.
Yeah.
Because what's the point of smiling if nobody's ever going to see it?
Hopefully your eyes smile too. But,
well.
You know, it is strange. You know, I will say this year, every year I've been a teacher, the first day I learn my students' names and I associate their face and their name and what we talked about for the brief.
Couldn't do it this year, huh?
This year I can't. No, I am.
You need to see their faces.
I need to see their faces,
That's
eyes,
right.
and I did the exact same process, and I have a hard time right now.
I've already spoke on this. I'm very sarcastic, but it's sarcastic with a purpose. And you can't be sarcastic if they can't see the smile on your face when you're making a statement that is blatantly false. They don't understand. They don't know that it's not a joke. Yeah. They need help. And of course, now we have all the other variants of the coronavirus. There's 75 different variants or something. I don't even know.
Yeah. And they're all our fault. America did it.
We did it. Meanwhile, though, by golly, we're going to help out those Pakistani gender studies programs. Yeah, I know. Well, anyway, that's a very short, pretty short, long in the boot podcast. I'm going to let it probably go there because
folks, you know, he is long in the boot, so it's not going to be as short as he thinks it is. I'll bet when he goes to the time, it's probably more like 50 minutes.
Well, as a matter of fact, because I'm such a precise individual, so far it is exactly 45 minutes and 22 seconds. But I bet I can shave that down just a little bit. Probably so. Okay, so I'm sure there's probably a couple uhs in there that I need to take out.
45 minutes felt like 50 minutes to me.
Oh, speaking of which.
What?
Grammar stuff. If you haven't noticed, just start to notice on KPLC News, people pronouncing words like peel and meal and seal, like pill, mill, and sill.
Dill.
It's driving me crazy. Dill. It's driving me nuts.
Well, if it was only one person doing it,
no, it's all the young people.
But it is all the young people. It's that affectation when they speak. Button. Yeah.
Yeah, the no T's on certain words. Yeah. Not all words, just certain words.
Well, I guess we've moved from.
Often it's the middle of the word of a two-syllable word. They'll take the T out if it's in the middle.
Yeah.
Right? Button.
Important.
It's again, it's at the break of the.
But I mean, think about we had the Valley Girl, the lilt thing that, you know.
Oh, uptalk?
Yeah, the uptalk for quite a while.
And then you cannot forget the grinding of the voice, you know, that thing that people do.
And now you sound like a emo or a goth.
Well, that's the I forget what they call it. What do they call that? They have a name for it.
I'm sure they do. You know what?
Yeah.
There are too many new things.
Too many new things.
I can't keep up.
We hate new stuff.
No.
Get off my lawn.
No, it's the neighbor yelling at the dog. Get on out of here.
Get on out of here.
It's all one word. Just one long word. And it makes me think of my dad.
There you go. Well, so we don't have anybody here for Christmas this year. Just the daughter.
Took away our daughter-in-law and the two grandkids.
Hurricanes took away.
The Air Force took away our son.
Air Force took away my boy. My boy. The Air Force took my boy. And
I'll get you.
And I'll get you back, son. Don't you worry. And took away our daughter-in-law.
And the grandkids. So they get to be with the other grands.
Yes.
For this Christmas. I'm jealous.
Annabelle and Grace.
Yeah.
Miss you guys.
I'm very jealous.
And so there you go. And
such is life. And then, but the girl will come out. Scarlett's the one.
Yeah. She's the one.
She's the one.
She says she's going to try to make me watch Hamilton, and I'm telling you now, ain't doing it. Ain't doing it.
We did try. We did about 30 minutes.
I tried. I couldn't do it.
Really
I just couldn't do it. And Habs wants me to. Habs wants me to watch it desperately.
It's just like, you remember back when ET came
Yes,
out,
I know. Everybody's like, you have to see it. No, I don't.
And we were just out of spite. I'm not going to watch.
I'm not going to watch it. I just don't like.
Forget that little alien.
I just don't.
It was a decade.
It takes a very special musical for me to like it. First of all, and sing talking or talk singing, I just don't care for it
all the way through.
I'd sooner read a biography of Alexander Hamilton.
I'd rather go to the dentist.
Actually, I want to get a book I heard about that's Alexander Hamilton's wife and her recollections of that time.
Oh, interesting.
It's supposed to be very good. Okay. Anyway, so yeah, you can try to make me watch Hamilton. All it's going to do is make me get on my PlayStation and go to
wait, this might be
the Middle Ages.
That might be
England.
Worth it.
Oh yeah, I'll leave the room. I have a problem with it.
You'll leave Scarlett and I alone, and
I've got some more of the I've got some more of the hidden ones or the ancient ones to kill. So
all right,
they're everywhere in England apparently.
Well, especially on a cold, rainy day in Louisiana.
Well, it's not rainy.
No, not today, but
not tomorrow.
The ground is still.
It's not supposed to rain tomorrow, right?
I don't think so.
The wind has started to die down. A little.
It's bitter out there.
It is bitter. Well, I'm going to leave you with that again. Long in the boot. Number to, I don't know, wish us a Merry Christmas if you wish.
Merry Christmas,
337
Happy Holidays.
502-9011. And Habs will be back eventually.
COVID's
rampant in this parish right now,
messing things up.
And I'll be honest, I don't want to get it. I just had a flu shot, and I felt like death yesterday from that stupid flu shot. That was
not pleasant.
No, that was not pleasant either. I don't know what the stomach bug going around is, but it's not fun. Not fun. Maybe we need a fecal transplant. Hey, if you don't know what that is, look it up.
No, the description was horrific.
It's a lot of fun.
Nobody needs that. Don't do that on Christmas.
On a Christmas show. Oh, that's so
you remember
wrong.
When you and the kids would gather around the computer and
talk about fecal transplant.
Watch popthatzit.com.
Oh,
and try
Christmas.
to get me to come back and watch, and I wouldn't do it because y'all are gross. Gross. Come on, Mom. No.
Calvinists would not approve.
Lansing boils?
Lansing boils on Christmas Day, not in the Bible.
Been okay.
But it's not in the Bible.
Okay. Well,
yeah, see.
Got me there. Well, I don't know. Maybe it's
cutting the heads off kings. It's in the Bible.
It's there.
It's there.
Okay.
All right. Well, we're done. Say goodbye, Debbie.
Merry Christmas, everybody.
Yes, Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas. I said it twice because there's no war on Christmas here, kids. Y'all take care. Have a wonderful holiday.
Bye-bye.